Today we are talking about Russia, baby. Because we've got some great news coming out of the Montreal Canadiens and the Detroit Red Wings. And if you clicked on this video, if you know the characters involved, then you probably already know the kind of conversation we're going to be having today. This is our update that both Wings and Habs fans are going to want to see. Because with all the young guys showing off well in the NHL preseason, there are young guys overseas that are also showcasing very well. Let's start out by talking about the guy who's a little bit older and a guy who has a lot more to gain with his opportunity right now in CSKA Moscow's organization. Today we're talking about Dmitri Buchelnikov, a Red Wings prospect drafted all the way back in the second round of the 2022 draft. 52nd overall, he's a 22-year-old, 5'10", 170-pound right-handed left winger, and we've been making a few videos about Buchelnikov over the course of the past few years. Not only was he a second-round pick, so that automatically warrants talking about him quite a bit, but he also had some pretty good development ever since being drafted by the Red Wings in this season. 75 points and 56 games played in the MHL, not bad in the slightest, and he inevitably started to take his talents to higher levels of Russian hockey. He played seasons in the VHL, also spent some time in the KHL with SKA St. Petersburg, and then last season he had a full season with Vityaz Moscow region's KHL team, scoring 54 points in 65 games over there. Now he's with CSKA Moscow, and you have to just go out there and acknowledge, firstly, that CSKA Moscow is a lot better than most KHL teams. And I'd say the majority of KHL teams that are not CSKA Moscow, maybe Dynamo Moscow, and especially SKA St. Petersburg, the majority of the other KHL teams generally seem to be a lot more lenient in giving their younger players more ice time and more opportunity. It's why everybody compares Demidov and Kaprizov and says, oh, well, Kaprizov was really good as a young guy, but he wasn't really doing all that with the top KHL teams like Demidov was when he started out his KHL career. But Dmitri Buchelnikov is now with CSKA Moscow, and he's got 6 points in 10 games played, on pace for about 40 in 68 total games, which is not bad. But the reason Buchelnikov has made headlines recently is because of the game he had yesterday. Against Lada Togliatti in a 7-2 win, the Red Wings prospect scored 3 goals and 2 assists, for a total of 5 points. Buchelnikov got a little bit more ice time in this game compared to the others. He shot the puck a lot more, and he even scored in the power play. And the best part about it all is that the entire video footage is available on the Detroit Red Wings subreddit. Now, I'm not going to play it for you because technically that would be infringing the copyright of the KHL, but just going frame by frame and breaking down what went down, that I think is allowed over here. Buchelnikov is the guy on the left side of your screen over here in red who takes the one-time shot and beats the goaltender. Zooming forward a little bit, you can see just the really nice goal over there on the side. He is parked up on the back door. There are the other points that he ends up scoring. Here's an assist, and Kovalenko is able to get the tally there. Not to mention just some of the other goals that he was able to score. He got 3 of them after all. Here he is at the bottom of your screen, the bottom of the 8th, presented by Rogers, as Buchelnikov takes the puck, winds up, and look at all the room he's got to shoot at. The goalie is way out of his crease. Buchelnikov finds the empty net, and he gets the goal on the board. And then you have yourselves this, a penalty shot. Look at that, eh? Buchelnikov ends up getting a gosh darn penalty shot, and he does a little move to get around the goaltender. Really nice play there. Red Wings fans are super excited to see what this guy's going to be capable of doing as he continues his KHL prosperity. If he gets more minutes, more opportunity with CSKA Moscow, then watch out because this guy could be one of the most underrated NHL prospects not in North America. But sticking around in the KHL, we have yet another name who happens to have been taken by the Montreal Canadiens that we can talk about as well. Folks, it is Alexander Zharovsky. Now, for some reason, on Elite Prospects, it says here that he plays for Tulpar Ufa in the MHL. That's not true. He's in the KHL. He is playing for Salavat Yuleev, and there were already conversations from the coaching staff as to why Zharovsky wasn't playing in the preseason there. He was recovering from injury, and it was just kind of a long process. But Zharovsky, 18-year-old Montreal Canadiens prospect, also a second-round pick, but from 2025, he's gone out there with a really stellar debut in the KHL. His first game saw him put up 2 points, 1 goal, and 1 assist for his very first KHL regular season game. Right now, he's on pace for 122 points in 61 games played. Odds are that he hits it? Probably a little low, but still, we can acknowledge that. And there have now started to have been articles posted by Michael DeRosa, for example, talking about how Zharovsky has a big KHL debut. He demonstrated good promise this past season in the MHL with Ufa Tulpar as he recorded 24 goals and 26 assists for 50 points in 45 games. Now he's getting his first chance in the KHL with Salavat Yuleev, making his debut on September 27th, standing out in a major way. While his club lost by a 5-2 final score, Zharovsky was a major bright spot for them as he recorded a goal and an assist. His goal was a nice one too, as he one-timed a nice feed from teammate Daniel Alalikin. And you can see the goal over here. Look at the bright neon jerseys, man. That's nice. And Zharovsky is parked up on the top of the screen. He ends up getting the pass out in front, and he buries it. Nice play there for the young Canadiens prospect. And then for his assist, he showed off his skill with the puck before making a nice backhand feed to Vladislav Yefremov for the goal. You can see Zharovsky, he's coming in, he dekes over to the backhand, then he sauces it out in front there. Nice play by Zharovsky one more time. Seeing a game like this from him is encouraging. It'll be fascinating to see how he builds off of it from here. So, of course, there is a lot to like for the Montreal Canadiens as well. Zharovsky is a guy that I think a lot of folks have started to hype up a lot more, especially considering the comments that the Montreal Canadiens made. They didn't have a first-round pick in the most recent NHL draft because they traded both of the picks away for Noah Dobson. But all the comments from Kent Hughes and co. essentially make it seem like the Montreal Canadiens might have taken Zharovsky in the first round anyway, if they still had their draft picks. Now, sure, it would have been nice to have seen Victor Eklund or a Cole Reshny or even any of the other guys like a Cullen Potter or a Henry Brustevich or something in the Canadiens organization. They would have been fine picks, but if the guy that you were going to take in this spot would have already been available in the second round, and you can trade away these picks to get a good defenseman like Noah Dobson, you make that trade every day of the week. Zharovsky is a first-round caliber talent that the Montreal Canadiens had evaluated in that range, and now he's at 2 points a game in the KHL. What more do you want out of this guy? So, with all this in mind, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about Dmitri Buchelnikov's 5-point game in the KHL for CSKA Moscow and Alexander Zharovsky's double-point debut? Habs fans, Red Wings fans, y'all can be excited and cheering for your prospects in the comment section below. Likes help out with the algorithm. I appreciate that a ton. Dislikes are also very, very welcomed. So please click the ratings button if you feel any emotional compelling to do so. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.